Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Ready to get into some fascinating stuff today.
Always.
All right, so today we're diving deep into the world of AI art.
Ooh.
Looking at all the ethical stuff.
Right.
And, how are artists reacting to all this?
Yeah.
We're mostly focusing on this YouTube video by Ivan Idrovo G. It's called Artificial Intelligence, Art, and Ethics.
Do artists not understand AI, or are we crossing the line?
Oh, I've seen that one.
Have you?
Yeah.
It's a good one. What I found really interesting about Ivan is, he's not just some tech guru.
Yeah.
He's also a musician. Like, he's been playing for over 15 years.
Oh, wow.
So he kind of gets both sides of this whole AI art thing.
Yeah, that's a really cool perspective to have, for sure.
Right. And right away, he starts talking about, how people feel about AI.
Yeah, there's a whole spectrum.
Yeah, like some people are like terrified of it, like doomsday prophets.
Ugly.
And then there are the people who are just like, nah, it's nothing.
And Ivan's like right in the middle. He sees both sides.
Right. He sees the potential.
Yeah. The amazing things it could do.
And the risks.
Exactly. It's complicated stuff. I have to admit, even I'm like kind of on the fence,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you see these AI things in the news all the time, and what they can do is just wild.
It is.
But I can totally see why artists are worried, too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. This technology comes along and suddenly their whole world is upside down.
Yeah, for sure.
Like their jobs, their livelihoods.
Exactly.
Everything's in question.
And then there's a deeper question, too, right?
Yeah.
What even is art if a machine can do it?
Right.
Can AI really be creative? Like, where does this all fit in the history of art?
Huge questions, right. And it's especially interesting how digital artists are dealing with this.
Oh, yeah, the younger generations especially, like millennials and Gen Z.
Yeah.
It seems like they're really embracing all these new AI tools.
Especially on social media. They're incorporating it into their workflow, the way they create.
Well, yeah, they grew up with all this tech. It's natural for them.
Right.
But that doesn't make the other artists' worries go away, the ones who feel threatened by it.
No, not at all.
There's been a lot of pushback, like against companies like OpenAI.
Oh, yeah.
The ones behind, Dale and all that.
Right.
People are worried about copyright, about artists not getting paid when their work is used to train these AIs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just this lack of transparency about how it's all developed and used.
Definitely.
Ivan actually talks about all that in his video.
He does.
Yeah. It's interesting because he's obviously excited about AI and tech.
Right.
But he doesn't shy away from the ethical issues.
No, he acknowledges it.
Totally.
It's refreshing, isn't it?
It is.
I think what really struck me is how he talks about the power dynamics at play here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's a small group of tech companies that are basically calling the shots, right? They're the ones developing these tools.
And controlling access to them.
Right. And it's all happening so fast, like the rules are still being written.
Right.
But a lot of artists feel like they have no say in it all.
Yeah. They're just along for the ride, right?
Exactly.
Kind of scary when you think about it.
It is. It really makes you think, huh?
It really does make you wonder, like, who gets to decide where art goes in this whole AI world, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But then Ivan kind of shifts the conversation to something, like, way deeper.
Oh, yeah.
He asks this question, like, why do we even make art in the first place?
Interesting.
And it really got me thinking, like it cuts through all the noise about copyright and AI taking over.
Right.
He's talking about something more fundamental.
Yeah, I see that.
It's about what it means to create, right?
It is, yeah.
He uses this analogy of growing your own food.
Oh, like a garden.
Yeah, exactly. Like imagine planting a tomato seed, right? And then, you're watering it, taking care of it, watching it grow into this big plant with all these juicy tomatoes.
Yeah.
There's this satisfaction you get from that whole process.
For sure. You put in the work, you see the results.
Right. And he compared that to just buying tomatoes at the store. It's not the same, right?
No, not at all.
And that's his point about art, too. It's about the journey.
Fact of creation, yeah.
The process itself is valuable, even if the end result isn't, like, perfect.
Or, like, sells for millions of dollars.
Exactly. It reminded me of learning to play guitar, Like those first few months.
Oh, yeah.
It's not pretty, but
it's about the progress.
Yeah. You're learning, you're getting better.
Right. And there's something so satisfying about that.
Totally. And I think we kind of lose sight of that in our digital world.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we can download music, stream movies, buy mass-produced art.
It's all instant gratification, right?
Yeah. Are we losing that human touch, that connection to the creative process?
Yeah. I think that's a really important question. And it's one that Ivan kind of pushes even further when he talks about this concept of, what was it called?
Oh, Maya.
Maya, yes, that's it.
He got it from this industrial designer, Raymond Loewy.
Okay.
Loewy noticed that when new technologies come along, they often look a lot like the old stuff.
Like, what do you mean?
Like early cars. They were designed to look like horse-drawn carriages, even though they didn't need to be.
Oh, I see. To make people feel more comfortable with it.
Exactly. It's like easing them into the unfamiliar.
Like those old cell phones that were shaped like the landline phones.
Exactly. And Ivan applies this to AI art. He thinks that focus on replicating old styles like hyperrealism and stuff,
Right.
it could be a form of Maya.
Mm-hmm.
We're using this powerful tech to just recreate the familiar.
Instead of actually exploring what it can really do.
Yeah, like we're stuck in a loop, mimicking instead of innovating.
That's a good point. I mean, think about how artists have always pushed the boundaries. Like, they're the ones who challenge the norms, who make us see the world differently.
Right. The experiment, break the rules.
And that's what's missing with AI art right now, at least from Ivan's perspective.
Because it's all controlled by the algorithms and stuff.
Yeah, he talks about this need to stress the system.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. What did he mean by that?
Like, to push these AI tools to their limits, you know, to see what they can really do when we break free from those restrictions.
So it's not just about setting rules for AI art, it's about encouraging exploration.
Exactly. It needs that same spirit of experimentation that has always driven art forward.
And it can't just be the tech companies deciding everything, right?
Right. It's got to be a conversation, you know, artists, educators, policymakers, the public.
Everyone needs to be involved.
Exactly. And that's where Ivan introduces his taxonomy of alignment and guidance. It's like this framework he's come up with.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for promoting responsible AI development through like education and collaboration.
So it's not just about rules, it's about understanding, working together.
Right, and making sure everyone has a voice in shaping this future with AI.
This is getting pretty deep.
It is, but that's what's so fascinating about this whole AI art thing, right? It forces us to confront some really fundamental questions.
Probably about creativity, our values, you know, our place in all of this.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the fears, the ethical concerns, the need for exploration.
Right, and a more collaborative approach.
But where do we go from here?
Well, that's the question Ivan leaves us with, and it's a big one.
So, like, what happens when we get past all that fear, all those worries about AI art?
That's where things get really interesting. Like, what if, instead of seeing it as a threat,
right,
we start thinking about AI as like a way to actually like rediscover our humanity?
Oh, wow. So instead of AI, like, taking away our creativity, you can actually help us connect with what makes us human.
Exactly. Like, I know it sounds kind of paradoxical, but
It does.
think about it. AI is forcing us to ask these really big questions about what it means to be creative, about what we value, about our place in the world.
It's like AI is holding up this mirror, right? And we're seeing ourselves reflected back.
Yes. And not just the good stuff, you know?
Right. The flaws, too.
Yeah, exactly. So if we like really engage with it with AI art, it could actually be this amazing tool.
For what?
For understanding ourselves better, for making progress as a society.
So instead of just copying what we already know,
right,
we could use AI to create totally new forms of art, new ways of expressing ourselves, maybe even new ways of connecting with each other.
That's the potential, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty exciting.
It is. Like, imagine using AI not to mimic the past, but to explore all these uncharted creative territories.
Yeah.
And maybe through that process, we rediscover those things that make us truly human.
Like what?
You know, empathy, vulnerability, that joy of creating something new. Things AI can't replicate, at least not yet.
So it's not about choosing sides, human versus AI.
Yeah.
It's about finding ways for them to work together.
Exactly. Like, how can we use AI to enhance our creativity, you know? To complement it.
I like that. This has been a really thought-provoking deep dive, I have to say.
Me too. It's given me a whole new perspective on AI and how it can impact art and humanity as a whole.
Definitely. And, you know, for anyone listening who wants to learn more,
oh yeah,
check out Ivan's YouTube channel.
And his Discord.
Yeah, he's built this amazing community where artists and tech people and anyone who's curious about all this can connect and share ideas.
It's a great resource for anyone who wants to dive deeper.
Totally. This is just the beginning of the conversation, right?
It is.
The future of art is still being written, and we all have a part in it.
We do.
So keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep creating, everyone. Until next time.